Welcome back to more Final Fantasy XIV Online, where last time we succeeded in getting the Charlenes to allow us to use their ship to get to, I guess, the end of the known universe of this game? Where Meteion has set up, I guess nest is kind of the best term for it. Yeah, she is influencing our world with dynamis. On the way here, she assailed our ship, turning the game very much into a horror game. It was my water. No, it was very, very disturbing. I didn't like it. And with the power of dynamis, she very easily managed to knock nearly all of us out. The only one who maybe didn't was Thancred. Because with the last thing we saw before we blacked out was Thancred swinging his sword at her. When we came to, we were on this world, which Meteion has said was of not her making, but of Thancred's, as his final wish of survive before she says she killed him. I don't know. But she said his very last wish of survive was so strong that it gave rise to this land that allows us to stand upon it and to potentially get to Meteion. I don't know if she's telling the truth. She could very much be lying. I don't know. I hope she's lying. But we're about to find out. I have hope. I have hope. We'll see. Worry on Jay. He can't really be gone, can he? Meteion herself said his soul persists, that he is the reason we are still breathing. If so, then maybe... My aim was true. I had her. How we defeat an enemy we can't attack. Understand now why the Loporits were surprised to find that this environment could sustain life. There but for Thancred's sacrifice. And with Alizar, if he did do that and his soul persists through this land again, there might be a chance. If he can be changed by dynamis, maybe he can be changed back by dynamis. It's hard to believe Thancred was able to overcome Meteion's will, yet here we are. Would that the price of his victory had not been so high. His will was strong enough to reshape Ultima Thule that we might survive, that I might see again. His sacrifice must not be wasted. Despite Meteion's words, Oranje cannot accept his comrade is gone. I'm there with you. Soul without a body, a form of being with which we are not wholly unfamiliar. Indeed, for we existed in a similar state when residing in the first. The circumstances are rather more dire than that, 'tis true, but I choose to believe he is not forever lost to us. Hell yeah, same. Regardless, in sacrifice he hath afforded us a chance to prevail. Let us not squander it and ascertain the nature of this realm that we might confront and defeat Meteon. Stinian, Shent, would you accompany me in speaking with these dragons? Mayhap they can enlighten us. I would ask the rest of you to survey these surrounds. If there is a path that may lead us to our quarry, we must find it. Very well. We can reconvene here when everyone is finished. Meteon said these dragons are shadow and shade from a world whose denizens sought oblivion. As such, they are not like to be amenable to company, let alone conversation, so please be careful. Let us split up and gather what knowledge we may. A visitor, not of this star. Could thy slender hands bring plague to our world? Thy breath extinguish life's feeble flame. Oh, how we would adore thee! Alas. With time our flesh shall wither, our souls fade, and so we wait for its inexorable march into oblivion. If thou art not come to hasten our demise, I bid thee leave us. I crave not companionship, only silence. Okay. Thou wouldst bid me speak? Folly. I observe the lesson of stone. I shall not fly, speak, nor roar. But you're speaking to me. But one sight yet stirreth my blood, tempteth me to raise my voice in lamentation. No, the cradle of unsown dragons. No words, no songs are possessed of the weight to describe such tragedy. Go, if that be thy will, I shall remain. I'm nervous when I don't see everyone else around. I don't want anything to happen to them as well. Beyond that distant veil, paradise lost. So glorious, so beautiful. We were a proud and noble race. Strength embodied, we knew only love before they came. Metal monstrosities of black and silver, no bonds of blood did they share, nor conviction did they have to guide them. Omega. A crushing defeat. Never have we known such shame. Still now are the winds, though none would fill these wings, burdened by ignominy. We fly no more, only sink into oblivion. Not a whole lot of info. Background, though. A lot of background info. Which I am interested. Forgot. To the northeast. So towards where everyone is. Okay. Stellar shelled dragon. So turtle. I don't want to fight you, but I'm gonna have Kane with me in case I kind of have to. I can go around this way though. I don't have a whole lot of uses of Kane left. Though, maybe I'll be able to buy some more from the ship. Oh. Dragon eggs. That you hear as well. It was described to me as the source of their woes and proof of their end. I think I'm beginning to see why. It's a hatching ground. Or was. I've seen similar in Ethos. Midgar Sama's kind must once have lived and thrived in a place such as this. Vitra said his father was driven from their ancestral home by war and strife. This, then, is the fate of those who remained. Let's have a look around. Maybe these eggs have more to tell of what happened here. Okay, shattered dragon egg. Inside the shattered egg, you find the remains of an unborn dragon. The body has already begun to decompose. The gelatinous, half-dried membrane covering the corpse suggests it failed to emerge. A murky liquid has pooled inside the eggshell. The noxious odor is indicative of contamination. Gingerly lifting a large egg from the viscous mire, you peer inside and see a formless mass soaked in a pool of embryonic fluid. Your stomach turns as you return the egg to its resting place. The stench of these eggs is as fierce as any weapon. Would that there were winds to carry it away. This egg appears to have been broken from the inside out. Perhaps the dragonet within succeeded in hatching. What's this? I thought all the eggs had been ruined. If the dragonet was indeed hatched, there's no sign of it here. Or its sire, for that matter. We should look for them. You start with the cliff tops, and I'll search the plains. Okay, I can do that. Oh, that's a good sign. Medion definitely wouldn't be in the swirling mass of darkness, right? Oh, wait, no. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Okay, still to the northeast. I think that's them there. Bereaved dragon. Oh, nope. Here we go. Freaking. Ow! Gosh darn it. Why? Malformed dragonet. Whoa! I don't want to fight you. God damn it. That's just sad. The boisterous howling hath been quieted. By thy hand, I presume. Yeah. Everything all right? I thought I heard a dragon, or something resembling one. I see what's happened here. Was that your child? Perhaps. Some eggs within Omnol are indeed mine. If life within one did quicken, the beast thou hast slain may be of my blood. Yet you don't seem to really care. Yet I do not recognize it, twisted and malformed as it is. Not a dragon in truth, but a reminder of our failure, a testament to our shame. Explain. They descended from the heavens, cold, heartless machines, and with them rode war and death. With fire and fury, rage and rancor, we gave answer. It was a long and bloody battle, but only the beginning. Untold chaos and destruction swept over the star. In the end, the invaders were victorious. Yet when they looked upon their prize, they deemed it unfit for requisition, and were abandoned to our ruin. Survivors sought to put away their shame, to rebuild, a futile effort. Impure soil replete with aether did we once cultivate our nesting grounds, but our lands were barren. Any eggs nurtured in such desolation were fated to rot. What few survived to hatch emerge as abominations, which have no progeny. There are dragons among you capable of journeying to other stars. That there are. Many would make the attempt, each bearing a clutch of eggs. The richest stars were home to the harshest rulers. The arrival of dragons incited contests for supremacy. When the fires faded, the wars lost and won, they too were reduced to ash and waste. 'Tis the curse of those who seek life, to be drawn into conflict, to conquer or be conquered. A vicious cycle we now choose to break. We tire of conflict, of everything. We wait now in sweet, merciful silence, free from strife and suffering, still as stone. Wait, you claim your kind is doomed, but there is another star. They don't even care. Bereaved dragon has fallen silent, leaving Estinian to sigh with frustration. They want only to brood in silence, to be left alone with their grief until time itself comes to an end. Sole reward for senseless bloodshed. Pain I understand. I wish that I did not. What fools we were. But now isn't the time for such thoughts. The others will want to hear what we've learned. Come. Okay, so I need to get off of this land if I want to get any of the Aether Streams, then. However, I'm also noticing a distinct lack of a way off of here. I don't like that. Good to see you made it back in one piece. The more I see of this place, the more bewildering it becomes. Did your exploration prove eventful? Converse with any dragons? Yeah. We would hear what the dragons had to share with you, even if it's no different from what they told Urian J. It would have value. With luck, they'll have learned something to help us devise a plan of action. Chance to gain audience with several dragons ere we returned, though I expect their tales are much the same as those you've heard. Were you able to establish any meaningful contact with dragons? I mean, we got some info. I don't know how helpful it is, but I see. They wish to escape what they perceive to be a cycle of conflict. Thank you, Shent, Estinian. As for our part, I believe we are more acutely aware of our confines than before. We started by traversing the perimeter of the island to see if there might be a path leading off of it. Sadly, there was nothing to be found. There's no small amount of debris floating about. Would there be enough to serve as a bridge to lead us elsewhere? I considered that, and I tried throwing a stone onto a potential platform to judge its integrity, but it never reached its mark. As it crossed an invisible threshold just beyond the boundaries of this land, it vanished, only to reappear above me and fall at my feet. It would not be too quick to presume that what we see outside this base is as it appears. Which is why I returned to the Ragnarok and asked the Loprids to search for a potential path. However, the ship's instruments failed to provide conclusive data on the surrounding area. Until we know more, I think it too risky to attempt flying to another island. What Medium told us before, that emotions dictate reality here, might be the key. But I'm not entirely sure what emotion might manifest a bridge to lead us to safety. So what you're saying is, we've no way forward. At present, aye. If it is indeed emotion that governs this island, perhaps it is not Medions, but the dragons that holds us here. They tire of conflict, and have chosen a path of oblivion to escape it. Or rather, they have chosen no path at all, meaning there is no way for the dragons, or anyone here on this island, to advance. A sound theory, disheartening though it may be. If that is the case, what recourse do we have? They are not likely to be persuaded to help us. Their reasoning is built on a history of turmoil and strife, without irrefutable proof the future is not as bleak as they believe it to be. Mayhap persuasion is not the answer. Medion meant to unmake us, then and there on the Ragnarok. She would have succeeded if not for Thancred's determination. She conceded it was strong enough to overpower the despair that otherwise rules Ultima Thule, and reshape it to a degree. Perhaps it can be done again in like manner, by overpowering the prevailing emotions. It was Ultima Thule's architect, Meteon herself, against whom Thancred did pit himself in a clash of wills. Though I marked no leader among them as such, I did chance to encounter a dragon possessed of despair far more potent than most. Potent enough, mayhap, to dictate the course for others, unless their domain to follow. He spoke but few words, carefully chosen, their tone and timbre along threatening to rend my heart in twain. Challenging his desire to remain may allow us to alter the island upon which we stand. Alas, I fear my vaunted rhetoric availed me not against his calcifying heart, but perhaps one of you will fare better. Again, I think this is a job for me and Estinian. Then I shall guide thee. I'll end the color, the dragon tongue. I will find him nearby, eyes fixed upon the water. Well, what have we to lose? Let's get going.
He remaineth as he was when I first approached, entombed in melancholy.
I see. Perhaps I could...
I'll handle this.
All the music.
So, waiting to die like all the others, are you? So you say. Yet your kind has found a new beginning on our star. One of you braved the Expanse, bearing with him a clutch of eggs. They and their children now rule our skies, their song heard by all. They were. They suffered much, and repaid their suffering in kind. Had your brethren made the selfsame choice, my family might still be alive. Yet lasting peace does not come to those who simply retreat from conflict. No, you must be willing to confront it, to stare into the face of your foe, and see yourself in him. Only then can you break the cycle of torment and tragedy. This lesson, a dear friend taught me at the risk of his life.
Oh.
There is no nobility in your penance. You wallow in self-pity. And after everything we've endured, we will not let you stop us.
Oh. Oh.
Estinian!
Stay back. Is up to you.
God damn it, no!
No! Not Estinian too!
There's a wind. He's opened the way for us. Sacrificed himself to remake this place, like Thancred did.
Oh, Alphino.
God damn it.
Come. Let us follow the wind. It will not lead us astray. He would not.
I'm not gonna like this, am I? This is just gonna be frickin' painful all the way through, isn't it? Level cheater? What the f- Will this always be the price paid for safe passage? If I had known this place would claim Estinian too, No. No, it's what had to be done. As by the meeting of mighty wings doth wind blow, and the dragons may ne'er again touch the sky. He in the shade he bore shall soar free. The winds have stayed the fog that covered this land. The air, it no longer feels quite so stifling. Look there, the wind. This is Estinian's doing. I'm sure of it. We should ride its flow and see where it leads. Powerful gale has delivered you to another island. The other scions should arrive before long. He did it. Found a way forward for us. Dragons remain trapped within a prison of their own making, lamenting the horrors of war. Yet Estinian knew them better than most. He was a man of honor and a dear friend, willing to fight to the very end for what he believed was right. And he was still fighting Alphinaud. And he's still fighting Alphinaud, just like Thancred. Their sacrifices are why we can survive here, why we still have a chance to stop her. Even in spirit, they're unwilling to give in to despair. We mustn't either. Alice is right. We must press on, for their sake. Paved sacrifice. The frick is going on with the frickin' titles of these? Is there supposed to be some sort of secret for this, or is it just like this? I wouldn't be surprised if, like, the letters that are different on here are supposed to, like, spell something out if put all together, you know? Way to look back on my journal. maybe, maybe not. I'll have to continue on. Frickin'. To feign bravery with bold words is a simple matter, but without the strength of will to match, we are powerless against Steinless. Not less than unshakable conviction will suffice, which makes me question if I am up to the task. No choice have we but to march onward, lest we squander their noble sacrifices. It pains me to say it, we can ill afford to stop and grieve our comrades' passing. No, there will be time enough after. We have to keep going, even if Estinian isn't here to see it. I'm sure Alphino wouldn't want to disappoint him. Alphino has regained his composure and is ready to proceed. As Istola and Alize said, we must continue. Notice the change in our surroundings. Perhaps this is the memory of an altogether different world. It will be prudent to learn more of it then. Tread carefully, lest we lose our footing in this sand. It's a sandy world. Again, we're getting closer to this. Oh. Oh. They look like a combination of the ninjas from Majora's Mask, and I don't remember the game, but you're like drifting in a desert with like a character with a long scarf, long red scarf. I can't remember what the name of that game is, but the character from that. Alize. Sand. Sand everywhere. If not for the light emitted by these cliffs, I might well have overlooked this monolith. If you're worried about my vision, you needn't be. I can still see quite well. Another seemingly barren world. For mercy, the air is nowhere near as stale, but still quite dry. The stand will no doubt prove bothersome in due time. Were it not for the violet crystal embedded in its surface, it would appear as ordinary stone. Here script hath been etched upon it. Alas, it's not in a language with which I am familiar. Cannot say I recognize it either. Nor I. The dragons, from what I recall, preserve their knowledge in song, eschew the written word entirely. So we may assume this is a work of another race, one we have yet to encounter. Meteon claimed the dragons' world suffered a slow death, seeking the release of oblivion. But life we find here, like as not, doth wend its way towards a similar end. Do you notice something else there? What do you suppose that is over there? Sure. It's hard to make out at this distance, but its surface seems to bear the same crystals as this monolith. Meaning there's a chance we may find whoever built them. We should go and have a look. Come on. I don't even know what I'm... okay, it's a beholder. Good to know. Hollow of the Flesh. Oh. Ghostly figure. Hail, travelers. This is a most unexpected occurrence. Oh, hello there. Is this your home? Indeed it is. Ah, forgive me. I had forgotten. An exchange of introductions is expected when first meeting those with whom one is unacquainted. When the vibration of vocal folds was still required to convey our thoughts and intentions, Ia, I believe, was the pronunciation used when referring to our people. It was not entirely applicable given our present state. You are welcome to use this appellation. As for nomenclature to address my individual person, I believe it would be pronounced Kafkuj. Yes, Kafkuj of the Ia. We have encountered beings that communicate intermittently through thought, but never one that is wholly without voice. I presume we are having this conversation via the medium of aether, or darkness, with the spaces suffused with vast quantities of it. Fascinating in either case. I gather your response to my presence is positive, then? That is well, for there is something I wish to ask of you. Like yourself, we Ia are aether-based life forms. Therefore, it may be surmised that your bodies are of comparable biological composition to those we once possessed. I have a number of queries regarding your subjective perception of the five senses: sight, sound, taste, touch, and smell. In total, I've prepared 198,712,180,827. That's rather a lot, isn't it? Ah, my apologies. I have omitted a great many details necessary to understand the nature of my request. Though we dispensed with our corporeal vessels long ago, we have discovered a need for the flesh, and have endeavored to recreate our erstwhile forms. However, all pertinent records have been lost due to passage of time. Take, for example, the nervous system. It is well within our power to recreate, but we have no frame of reference for sensations once experienced by our people, which may compromise our ability to interact with our physical environment. And the reason you need to regain your corporeal forms? Why, to bring an end to our existence, of course. Though need is perhaps too strong a word, it would be a simple matter to unmake ourselves through use of etheric exsanguinators, but such a death seems inadequate. The traditionalists among us believe proper death requires an inescapable sense of impermanence in one's final moments, an experience found only with body of flesh. We should very much like to hear more of your plans. In exchange, we will answer any questions you have to the best of our abilities. Such an exchange of information would indeed prove useful. Very well. To ensure efficacious exchange, I hereby invite you to our home. Yes, the abode of the Ea, which we traditionalists prepare for our demise. I presume your consent to answer questions is indicative of a tacit approval of our plans, in which case your cooperation is greatly appreciated. I must caution you, however, to be mindful of the Ea wandering the desert. Their desire for bodies of flesh could be described as overzealous. Now, if you would follow me. This is going rather smoothly. Not that I'm complaining, mind. Even so, you mustn't forget their aim is oblivion, much like the dragons. Though I fail to see why a civilization so seemingly advanced would choose to unmake all they have created. At any rate, we'll find no answers dallying here. Let us be on our way. The minion. Many Luminions. Oh. Let's get the Aether stream as well as the Aether Eye. The Isle of Dragons was shrouded in the silence of the dead, yet the stillness here doth suggest the Ea are, by and large, merely sleeping. They said there would be others, but I don't know what I was expecting. Something tells me we have different definitions of the word abode. More violet-colored crystals. Place my finger on it, but there's something unsettling about them. I should not be surprised their concept of a village is so different from ours, and yet... Welcome to our abode. Most of our compeers, you will find, remain idle in their domiciles. Though your quizzical expressions indicate my phrasing is unclear. I speak, of course, of the violet crystalline constructs hanging above the stone structures there. You say they remain idle, but what of your work to regain corporeal bodies? An astute question, and understandable given your finite nature. We have no desire to pursue our research, for it is no longer necessary. If, in our idleness, We are struck by sudden inspiration. We rise to pursue said inspiration to its conclusion. That is why I was present for your arrival, and why I continue to engage with you still. But while the others are not currently in a motile state, rest assured they would not object were you to disturb their respite. You need only cast your thoughts towards one of their crystalline domiciles to communicate. Even should they elect not to emerge, you need but cast your thoughts to the crystals to communicate with the Ia within. Cast your thoughts towards the crystalline domicile, but there is no response. You wish to speak. Very well. Pray, a moment if you would. Graha. Looks like it. Yep, Graha. No, what the frick? Why, we seek our end, you ask. If you wish to know, I will tell you. Just a moment. I must remember. What form did I take when last I emerged? If I heard correctly, the Ia within this crystal says it will emerge from within shortly. Do you suppose they all appear as Kafkaj does? Despite my best efforts, mine overtures have elicited no response from this crystal. Again, but as soon as resident sleepeth most soundly, or so I hope. Stola, Alphino, and Alizé. Stola. Well, Alizé's there. It is not strange they lack passion to research that which they desire above all else. If we are fortunate, the Ia residing in these crystals will shed light on this contradiction. Tried reaching out to whatever is inside this crystal, but all I can hear is sporadic moaning. Oh. That's not great. Where's Alphina? Okay. I suppose there's a logic to creatures comprised of spiritual energy utilizing crystals as living spaces, but it's nevertheless surprising to see. Strange moaning comes and goes, but soon fades into silence. Did your inquiries yield satisfactory responses? I see. If they failed to answer, then it is likely because their minds have unraveled due to prolonged idleness. They are not but concentrated aether now. Worry not. There are no others who have need of those lodgings, and they will not prove a hindrance to remain as they are. But more importantly, you said some few did answer your request for an audience, yes? I imagine they will be with us ere long. Flesh abandoned. Kafkuj languidly awaits their brethren's arrival. I had no luck, but everyone else fared well enough. Quite a few Ia have awakened. Ah, there they are. May I introduce to you the Luck, Dudek, and Nene. Hello. It has been too long, Kafkuj. I dare say Sard Eve has been completed in orbit. Indeed, until the travelers brought it to my attention, I hadn't noticed how unraveled some had become. Travelers? Ah, of course. The ones who wish to know why we seek to regain corporeal forms. The truth of the matter is as plain to see as the neighboring systems, but my single account would fail to satisfy the requirement for scientific objectivity. Thus did I bid them awaken you. Am I the only one who struggles to tell who is speaking? Nay, thou art not. In the absence of corporeal forms and the divergence they afford, perhaps such similarity in voice is unavoidable. By the way, Kafkuj, have you already observed the requisite custom for the travelers? That which one is expected to do when receiving guests? A matter of proper form. Ah, yes. So long has it been, it had completely escaped my mind, and still does. What was it again? I can't seem to remember. Neither do I. Pity. I was hoping you would. Perhaps we can search the archives for the answer. Come now, Ninid. The archives have long been frozen, lest we subject ourselves to further dolor. Surely you recall that much. Ah, of course. Food. The custom is to serve food. Beings of flesh such as they must regularly replenish their aether. By contributing to their replenishment, we communicate our friendly intentions. That's right. That's right. We duly invite you to join us in communal repast, after which we may engage in leisurely conversation. If we have a chance to learn something, then I see no reason to decline. Excellent. If you would care to follow, we shall feast you on the purest aether. They mention that their friends, once they turn insane, turn into aether. We're not gonna eat their friends, are we? Oh, they've all woken up. Oh, I hope they're drinking. Oh, no, they're just... Honestly, I feel the same. Sometimes I feel just like that too. If this is as I suspect, then this so-called feast... Actually, let us just see it for ourselves. Fear not, we're not like to come to harm. If they're thus able to replenish their aether, the loss of vital sustenance isn't like to be the cause of their demise. Aether, they said, but I can't help but feel a bit nervous. Judging by the construction of this facility, it would seem the Ea directly draw upon the aether. We're told to stand wherever we like. This strikes me as less of a meal and more a ritual. To think that I have forgotten what had become of the archives. How much has my essence deteriorated since last I was awake? Not that I am averse to having my mind fade away in this manner. It isn't so unlike the natural degradation of one's flesh. How delightful. Throughout the universe, a few races have completely shed their flesh as we have. As a result, we seldom receive visitors from other stars. Extreme differences can inhibit meaningful interaction, you see, and none more so than those which affect communication. Most entities, for example, cannot even comprehend our words. You are rare indeed in your ability to do so. You avail yourselves of dynamis, yes. It is an impressive application, even if it is ultimately pointless like all the rest. How much aether would be adequate for your kind, I wonder? As I recall, there's a finite line between optimal satiation and violent sickness. This facility is where we replenish our aether. There's no particular name for it, but we traditionalists sometimes use the word restaurant. Now then, if you would take your place with your comrades, the space will soon be awash with purest aether. Please absorb as much as you like. Wait. Brace yourself for a rush of sweet, sweet aether, but nothing seems to happen. Perhaps you need to wait a while longer. Brace yourself again, but again, nothing seems to happen. Just as I had suspected, as meticulously as one might recreate the Ea's home world, this is Ultima Thule. One cannot simply generate aether here. As recreations, our friends are oblivious to this fact, to the very truth of their existence, much like the phantoms of the recreated Amarat. However appearances may seem, we must ever be mindful that it is the memories of the dead with whom we deal. So did you have your fill of aether? Alas, we couldn't absorb it. A deficiency in our forms, it would seem. Oh, how very unfortunate. May I ask how you normally replenish your aether? Through your mouths, you say? How very primitive and quaint. To think their mouths are not only to expel sound, but draw in sustenance besides. Such life forms have long since vanished from our systems. Though we regrettably cannot partake of your magnificent feast, rest assured we feel your welcome most keenly. In the course of acquainting ourselves with your sophisticated ways, however, we could not fail but wonder, wherefore do you wish to obtain vessels of flesh, and hence to vanish? Will you not favor us with an explanation? You flesh and blood beings are always so hasty. It does have its charm, however. Very well, we shall indulge you. In the beginning, when the Ea yet possessed corporeal bodies, our ancestors dedicated themselves to the pursuit of knowledge and technological advancement. By transcending all limitations, we believed we would eliminate sorrow and abide in true happiness. From the tangible such as land to the intangible such as labor, there exist myriad hindrances to progress, but the most confining of all was the flesh itself. Our natural lifespans were distressingly middling, you see, too short to enjoy unhurried lives, yet too long to be considered disposable. Furthermore, to simply maintain the integrity of our bodies demanded considerable resources. But we managed to solve this problem. After long years, we discovered how to become non-corporeal entities with everlasting lives, untroubled by the failures of the flesh. Thus changed, we had more time and freedom to continue our scientific pursuits. We went on to make even greater strides in our quest to transcend all limitations, until we finally decided to challenge the last of them all, the limit of knowledge. That is to say, deciphering the laws of creation. We sought to discover how the universe came into being and explain all extant phenomena and thence predict the future. If we could but achieve this, we believed that we would be free from uncertainty and anxiety. And did you find the answer you sought? Yes, we did. Our efforts revealed to us a fundamental truth. Knowledge of said truth is essential for the continuation of our conversation. If you would learn more, we will share it with you. No, we mustn't. Primitive as they are, it would be unspeakably cruel to deprive them of their ignorance. They are possessed of corporeal forms. Their lives readily ended. As those who have gone before, is it not our duty to warn them? What thinkest thou? We have deliberated and came to a consensus. If you are resolved to know, we will disclose to you the truth we discovered, the truth of the universe. Seek us at the stone pillars just outside the bounds of the abode, a place called Elegia. To find the laws of creation would have been no small feat, even for the Ea. Nay, having eternal life and hence no sense of haste would only have made it harder. Such a tremendous drive for knowledge they once must have had, and I struggled to reconcile it with the listless beings before us. Whatever answers they found, it did not bring them happiness. Like her master, Y'shtola seeketh the truth of creation. How will the truth of the Ea, who uncovered all only to desire the end, fall upon her ears? You may be intimately familiar with a problem, know it like the back of your hand, yet be powerless to solve it. In the course of my struggles, I have often been made keenly aware of this fact. I wonder, have the Ia never felt the same frustrations? 'Tis true that a lack of knowledge can beget fear. Therefore, in theory, by acquiring all knowledge, it may be possible to attain peace. But as Heidelin told us, all those people who attempted to free their world from life's woes met with failure. As the Ia are among them, as their presence here attests, the tale we are able to hear will not be a happy one. A fundamental truth. We will hear it, of course. Let us learn what has led such an enlightened people to their indolent end. Question marks. Wonderful. Before we hear the climax of Ia's tale, perhaps I should speak of... On second thought, it would only be a distraction. We'll talk more when the time is right. Oh, where knowledge leads. Something seems to weigh on Urianje's mind. And we join the Ia. There's one trifling matter I would fain investigate. Shens, Grahatia, might I trouble you for your assistance? But of course. My thanks. We shall head outside the abode. If you would kindly follow me. I know not what mischief you are plotting, Urian, but I trust you have our best interest at heart. The rest of you shall go on ahead to Elegia. Lest you worry, we won't start without me. As long as Urian explains himself to you, then I shall be satisfied. Do lend him an ear in my stead. There's naught but desert out there. What could Urian wish to investigate? Go on and assist Urian with his mysterious task. We shall wait for you. I think he's worried about Ishtola. Wellspring of regrets. Spring, and a sizable one at that. I hadn't noticed it amidst the dunes. Aye, this place shall serve. Is the spring you wish to investigate? Pray forgive me, my friends, but there is naught to investigate. 'Twas but a pretense to speak in private. You have our undivided attention. As we have established, here in Ultima Thule, those denizens of ruined stars are recreated in their twilight days. Yet one question doth arise in my mind. So faithfully formed are the simulacra, they believe themselves yet amongst the living. How dost thou suppose this is possible? Meteion made contact with them while they still lived. Of course, she must have visited the Stars of the Dragons and the Ea before either race perished in their entirety. Thus could she make their emotions her own, and with them create more faithful simulacra than had she relied on in any historical account. So too did I theorize upon that assumption. Consider how those two races may have met their demise. According to thine own tale, Meteion perceived the emotions of those nearby as her own. Heightened sense of empathy, intrinsic to her nature as an intellectual. In the course of her starfaring journey, if she encountered beings who strongly desired a cessation of their existence, she would be powerless before that desire. And as she possesseth the power to grant it, the power of Dynamis, it is my supposition that, overwhelmed by their longing for death, Meteion did unleash Dynamis and usher the dragons and Ea unto their doom. Of course, such was not always the outcome. Full many stars did she find already lost her. In order to create a terminus, however, the fervent desire for the end is essential. Therefore, should you struggle to find the way forward, pray ask yourselves this. In the place where you stand, whose is the soul that yearneth most desperately for oblivion? Why do you tell us this now? Ne'er again would I betray your trust. This pledge I did make to my comrades. In bringing thee into my confidence, I would remain true to my word. As for thee, let us consider it my fitting reward for the secrets I harbored for the Crystal Exile. I once placed my faith in thy chosen path, walking at thy side full knowing that we were bound for thy demise. I ask now that thou returnest the favor, and abide in faith as I fulfill mine own destiny. If you say my debt has come due, how am I to refuse? It is indelicate of me, I knew full well, and can but beg thy forgiveness. And even if I must needs go to such lengths, cannot well feign ignorance of the answer I have found within. The answer to the question, what moment might I stand strongest? After all that we've been through, I will say only this. Do what you must. Do what you must and see your conviction through. I shall, my friend. I shall. Without further ado, then, just go to join our comrades. Let us be off to Telesia. understand we've taken care of business. If you're ready to begin, then so are we. While we waited, we mentioned our star's situation to the ear. He nodded sagely, or something to that effect. Come, let us hear the ear's tale and learn what caused such enlightened beings to crave nihility. Don't mind me. Oh, you're here already? Your comrade said you would be late. We have prepared for our recounting. To facilitate comprehension, the information will be simplified to match your primitive minds. Your companion in front, one called Ishtola, she seems the keenest to learn the truth. I pity her. It would seem your star, too, has been plunged into a panic-induced cataclysm. We hope that our tale will not serve to exacerbate it. Seems everyone is accounted for. Shall we then?
Please continue. Tell us about this truth you discovered.
Let's see if...
Very well. Bear in mind, however, that the purpose of this conversation is not to impart scholarly knowledge, for such requires that you comprehend the subject matter, which you will not. We will forego the intricacies of our scientific methodology and deal only with the conclusion, the end of our society and our world. We acknowledge, with regret, that your star is in the midst of the same panic-induced cataclysm that befell Deneb III. As such, in order to avoid causing undue distress, we will refrain from explicitly stating how much time you have remaining.
You are entirely too kind. I pray you recount your tale as you see fit.
In the beginning, the universe was but a tiny particle. Then suddenly, this particle began to expand. Having remained entirely in the bounds of your star, the phenomenon may be difficult for your kind to grasp. But this expansion has since continued unabated. Speculating that the universe could not grow indefinitely, we sought to learn what might occur, and made a worrying discovery. The stars will continue to spread apart, as will their finite thermal energies. Eventually, all heavenly bodies will grow cold and freeze. No new stars will be born, and the universe will enter onto an eternal ice age. In hopes of proving that this determination was erroneous, we scrutinized our research from all angles, even as we sought to avert the everlasting winter. The endeavor proved fruitless. So infamously so, in fact, that it became synonymous with vain effort. The universe as we know it would end, and there is no way to prevent it. Beneath the weight of this knowledge, our society stagnated. Though we had time still, it was a cold comfort. Why strive for anything when desolation is assured? When our wealth of wisdom, accumulated since the dawning of our kind, would be forever lost. No civilization would rise from our ashes. No scholar recover our knowledge. In silence unbroken, naught would stir. Intellect was once our pride. Overnight, it became our shame. Our works, monuments to futility. Immortality, our greatest invention, became a source of suffering. Rather than suffer on, many chose to unmake themselves by means of etheric exsanguinators. Etched upon these stones are the testaments of such souls. Though many left no words at all, thinking it a pointless gesture.
Once we have obtained vessels of flesh, we likewise intend to vanish.
If you understand this, understand aught of our tale, you will abandon your quest for knowledge. Ignorance truly is bliss. If you would cling to your illusory happiness, remain primitive and pure. It is the only way.
So that's your story. While I appreciate your advice, I will not heed it. Convinced though you may be of this truth, it is yours and not mine. Indeed, truth, I have ever believed, is in the eye of the beholder.
Are you suggesting that we have reached a faulty conclusion? That our science failed us?
Hardly. As you yourself said, the subject matter is beyond my comprehension. And that, I accept, is true. I do not possess the knowledge to prove or disprove your conclusion. In my mortal years, I doubt I could even approach the wisdom of the Air. But of one thing am I absolutely certain. I would not be happier in ignorance.
Y'shtola, no! You mustn't!
The most important lesson I've learned is that learning isn't simply passing one's eyes over words. Nay, 'tis when understood for oneself that knowledge attains its true value. This is what has sustained me, driven me onward in joy and wonder, in anger and sorrow. The universe may end, and all may be for naught, but I will live as I always have. I will always seek out new knowledge, and no conclusion of yours, no matter how grim, can dampen my desire.
I suppose it is only to be expected. Their feeble minds cannot fathom the terrifying gravity of it all.
But worry not. We consider it our duty to enlighten you, and we will not stop until you grasp the full extent of our despair.
Though my body will soon dissipate, there may be a way to restore it. Azim's magic. So long as our souls remain, you can use it to summon us back. But you mustn't, for it would mean losing our way forward. This I only reveal so that you can promise not to invoke the magic. We came here knowing what victory may cost, so press on. Press on, and do not look back.
I shall join thee. As subterfuge is not required, thou shalt not suffer for mine absence.
Riange.
My resolve hath never been as strong as thine. Full oft have I wavered in my decisions, and afterwards been stricken with regret. In spite of this, I may still stand with my comrades, supporting them as they attempt the greatest of feats. This truth I have learned in the course of our journey. And many though my shortcomings may be, I may also claim to excel in prophecies. My studies, into which have granted me the flexibility of mind needed to bend this malleable reality. Thus shall I hope that thou mayest have the strength to resist, and our comrades the strength to continue.
With you to urge us on, how could we possibly fail?
What's this? An extinguished civilization. Rekindled.
Medion.
That's right. Our quest doesn't end here. We'll press on, and we will find you.
There. That's where you'll find me.
Is that another star?
Of the stars we visited, most were already devoid of life. And where there was life still, the inhabitants wished for death. But even death, we learned, isn't truly the end. It is but a part of the cycle of rebirth. Souls return to the star, or in its absence, a larger flow. And eventually they are reborn. Alive again, to know suffering anew. True salvation lies not in dying. It lies in not being born. This is the gift I would give to you. To all life on beautiful Aetheris. To that end, we created an egg wherein life cannot quicken. That dead sun. Attain it if you can, before your friends' emotions fade away, along with their protection.
is gone. I'm fine, Shent. Like I said, our quest doesn't end here. I want to do quests for these I have Aether streams and I need it to fly. Thinking he is quite visibly ruminating. How fortunate that you are here, Corporal B, for we are in need of your assistance. I am sure you saw some of my kind drifting about the untamed wilds, just over there. As I understand, they are binding their spirits together as one in hopes of diluting their consciousness and thereby erasing their sorrow. Unfortunate. The resulting amalgam doubtless longs for more minds to incorporate, and if other Ea approach it, it may be drawn into the growing mess against our will. Your corporeal form seems to outweigh your mental capacity, so you should be safe, however. Please destroy the collective consciousness before it kills us all. Your ready acceptance gladdens me. I believe that if you lay waste to 2 wandering souls, the amalgam will appear. Do be aware that while your mind is safe, it may present other dangers should it realize what you are attempting. To be staring right through you. Pardon me, traveler. I lack the sense of time, as perceived by those of finite lifespans, but might you be able to spare a moment to speak with some of my fellow Ea? It's rare to find one so unmarred by the scars of deepest wisdom. Your appearance and perceptions are as an outsider differ so much from our own that I wonder if a degree of interaction might prove stimulating for both parties. Much obliged. I shall mark the locations on your map. We tend to spend considerable time frequenting their usual haunts. Being you are. Have my peers discovered how to regain the corporeal form, so I remain lost in thought? No, of course not. Come to think of it, I wonder if we ever possess the peculiar form that you now do. Oh dear, I fear this always remains when I delve too deep into such ruminations. The very moment I attempt to regain clarity, it... Might you kindly leave me to my ruminations? I dare say I am nearly on the verge of a philosophical breakthrough. Pray leave me to my ruminations. When I delve too deep into my ruminations, the very moment I attempt to regain clarity, it triggers the most unpleasant reaction. I feel that you have not found a way for us to reacquire corporeality, perhaps it falls to me to meditate further upon the matter. In any event, pray leave me to my cogitation. Laid back here, huh? How curious. An unfamiliar corporeal life form calls out to me as I wait in vain for the inevitable coming of the end. This is indeed the chance of a lifetime, mayhap of many lifetimes. So I pose to you this question. Tell me, traveler, what is the true nature of life in the universe? This is a Hitchhiker's Guide reference. 42. Why, precisely. That is the very conclusion I arrived at myself. How heartening, and surprising, I dare say, to meet one as enlightened as myself. Silly. Must be that traveler from beyond who has been causing quite the stir about around our abode. What a stroke of luck, in fact. I've been hoping I might have the opportunity to exchange thoughts with you and your companions. For you see, I have for too long whiled away my days in listless banality, drifting waywardly as my mental faculties diluted and slowed. I so long to strike up a stimulating conversation with a traveler, if for so long none would pay me visit. That said, I never imagined you would have such a strange physical form. Pray tell, how do you keep your balance? What keeps your innards from spilling out through one of the multiple orifices in your body? Oh, but pardon me. Truly I meant no offense. Clearly, life in your world found its shape to be suitable, perhaps even necessary, for your survival. Perhaps our own original form was equally horrifying. You may quick work of the amalgam. Of course, it is well within each e's right to choose when they wish to end their own existence. But to force others to join them, however accidentally, is another matter. This whole ordeal has led me to contemplate how I should meet my own demise. But forgive me, I forgot such matters are not left to choice for your kind. Truthfully, I envy you, to go forth each day full of vigor, not knowing when your lives will be unexpectedly snuffed out. It must feel incredible. My apologies if I have made you uncomfortable. I am unused to speaking with mortals. Be assured that I appreciate your help. You have given me much to think about regarding death, but perhaps life. Did you encounter my acquaintances? I can only hope that they derive the same sense of stimulation from conversing with you as I myself did. For so, we may yet discover a means to attain the moratorium known as death. Till that time, should you ever be in the mood for a discussion on the profound and inevitable meaninglessness of the universe, we'll be here waiting. Yes, always waiting. Regards his comrades in solemn silence. Are you all ready to continue on? Then let us make for where that light shone. Stola and Urianger have opened the way for us. Judging by the direction, this should be the place. Some manner of device. If a friend's awakened it, then it should be safe to use. Yes, I can feel it. The aether emitting from the arcane pattern. This is a portal. No mistake. Let us see where it leads. Portal of Wisdom. Travel through the portal. Yes. Oh god, it's freaking Omega's place. And we're gonna have to fight. Here we go. Waiting. Overflow level checker, overflow beta. never ran into Omega, did they? Amazing. In another civilization. Oop. Attacked as soon as you arrived. Not the most welcoming of places, is it? We must try to find denizens who are amenable to conversation. We should also get the lay of the land to see how far we can go. I'll help Afna with that. In the meantime, you and Graha can search for friendlier folk. Okay. Apart from hostile beings, take care with your footing. I mislike the look of this terrain. Not knowing what the locals are like, you'd best take care of yourselves. We'll find you once we're finished exploring. God. Of course, in the end, it's my 3 favorite people in this game. Oh my god, I love them all, but god damn it. You know. Expect the twins will seek the outermost bounds of the Isle, so I propose we search the central area. There are machines patrolling here and there. Sentinels in all likelihood. Like those you encountered, they are most certainly attack any who venture too close. So let us avoid them and look for others that appear more approachable. See not but patrolling machines in the area. They do not seem inclined to non-violent intercourse. Oh god, flip, flip. Hello, 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 hello. Shut him down. L-O. L-O. Oh. They're guarding it, seems like. I thought it was keeping an eye on me. Oh. Giving me Xenoblade Chronicle vibes, the Mechon. Additional entity detected. Look, Shin, the machines here do not appear hostile. Let's see if we can communicate with them. Begging your pardon, but we are searching for the denizens of this star. Unknown life forms detected. Signing genetic label. Interplanetary travelers. Greetings and welcome to the planet. Blip bloop. The planet? What? Can you please repeat that? It appears your hearing organ is unable to process the name in our tongue. It may be translated into yours as Alphatron. Our people, meanwhile, are called the Omicrons. You stand within one of our outposts. The Omicrons, you say? And what is it that you do here? We are preparing for war. As we presently do not have a designated target, you have nothing to fear. Should your star become designated, however, you will be taken into custody and or terminated. Not a little frightening. These Omicrons, but at least they seem to be forthright. I will see what else I can learn from this fellow. If you could try speaking with the others. In order to access the vendor's wares. Fair enough. Blip bloop. Autonomous weapon deployment complete. Vanguard armament upgrade complete. Munitions level satisfactory. Combat readiness assessment nominal. Awaiting instructions from Sir. Maintaining state of combat readiness. Can I see what it'll look like? I can't. Of duty to commerce seas. I don't know if I know what that is. based off the dice I do have. Okay. That's neat. That is neat. I like that. I've been hoarding my dies. Measuring combat capability. Result negligible. Subject falls outside targeting parameters. Greetings, traveler. We are the Omicrons, and our objective is self-enhancement. In order to achieve this, we venture forth in conquest to achieve combat data and resources. Most recently, we succeeded in subjugating the home world of the beings whose strength was said to be without parallel, the dragons. Yet though the Endeavor wielded a wealth of combat data, the star was rendered barren and unable to yield resources. Subsequent costing determined that the losses incurred exceeded the gains. Greetings, traveler. When venturing outside the outpost, beware malfunctioning units who do not heed Sir's commands and indiscriminately attack all non-Omicrons. For the avoidance of confusion, be advised that Sir is the alias of Stigma 1. Sir issues instructions to our forces as the foremost of the 6 strategic metrics that bear the designated Stigma. Learned a few things. So did I. Ere we share our findings, however, I believe it best to step outside the outpost. Come with me. Ah, there you are. We finished surveying the area. This will come to no surprise, but there was no way forward. There were portals like the one we used to get here, but those that worked only sent us to isolated isles. And as before, we must locate the embodiment of the emotions that bar the way. Probably this Sir that we heard about. What of yourselves? Did you find anyone to speak with? So the Omicrons seek to advance themselves through conquest. Following their victory over the dragons, they stand ready for the next campaign. But the leader has yet to issue new commands, and so they wait. In such a place, who could it be that fits Urianger's description? A soul whose yearning for oblivion surpasses all others. Urianger said this? During our investigation, before we joined you in Alegia. So that's the way of it. Why couldn't you just say it to all of us? Given what we know of this place, it's certainly a curious state of affairs. While the dragons and the Ia long for death, the Omicrons long for conflict. Much as that may lead to destruction, it must be considered a distinct desire. In order to find the source of the dominant emotion, I believe we should seek out their leader, this Sir. According to M032, the first Omicron with whom we spoke, there is a console by which we might communicate with it. M032 also added that it would be a pointless exercise, but that in itself, I believe, is worth investigating. What say you? Pointless exercise. What does that mean, I wonder? Considering the Omicron's single-minded character, lack of new orders does seem unusual. I agree that we should seek out their leader. Ideas ready to set forth. So the console we seek lies on the far side of this isle. Given the nature of the ground, the route may not be entirely direct as it seems. Let us all watch our step as we make our way forward. Assistance required or requested. This unit has observed a curious phenomenon in which certain members of enemy factions have exhibited a marked increase in their combat capabilities. Analysis suggests that said members share unique intraspecies bonds with others in their faction. These individuals were conferred titles such as consort and family. This unit detected no difference in physiology that would provide notable advantage in combat. In the presence of intraspecific bonds alone led to an increase in performance. Records indicate that one member of a bond group exhibits this exceptional improvement when others are eliminated. Potential benefits of such augmentation are projected to be immense. Thus, this unit's query. Are you familiar with the aforementioned phenomenon? This is fortunate, as this unit has constructed a consort for research purposes. You are asked to delineate the method by which this unit might form an interspecific bond with said consort. Requesting standby at present coordinates. Initiating consort retrieval. Initiating communication. This unit requests your participation in an Omicron combat simulation. 98.8% of the past 12,359 sessions have produced the exact same result. Thus, an unknown quantity such as yourself is required. An Omicron aggressor is positioned outside the base. This unit has instructed said opponent to record all combat session data. You may initiate your assault when your preparations are complete. Does records be destroyed if I smash it? Uncertainty detected. Reviewing previous transmission. Verbal analysis suggests this unit has omitted crucial information regarding the current mission. This unit begs your pardon. Once you have dearly destroyed the aggressor, you are requested to activate this device, which will automatically transfer combat data to a convenient portable format. Initiating handover protocol. Sending coordinates. Per the transmission you have just received, the opponent is located on the planar frame extending from this base, reconfiguring emotional state to grateful. This unit thanks you for your cooperation. Oh, now I can do the gemstone trader? And now access to the gemstones. Dynamis crystal. I need to do more of the fates. Activating introduction. This unit presents the aforementioned consort. At present, its capabilities are comparable to subordinate patrol units. How should we proceed? You can give it a pet name. Scanning identification database. Records indicate this Omicron is designated Test Unit 0043. This unit requests confirmation that said appellation quality is sufficiently pet. Hesitance detected. New proposal. My beloved. A review of this unit's memory shows that a member of an enemy faction referred to its bondmate as such. Appellation change confirmed. New designation, My Beloved. Reconfiguration emotional status to grateful. This unit appreciates your assistance in facilitating the creation of a special bond with My Beloved. Initiating Phase 2 of experiment. This unit will evaluate whether the destruction of My Beloved bears a positive impact on this unit's combat capabilities. Transmitting self-destruct command to My Beloved. Analyzing unit status. No changes in functionality detected. Possibility of transmission failure estimated at 78%. This unit asks that you confirm that My Beloved was successfully executed a self-destruct command. Retrieval remains also requested. Frickin' messed up. I, for one, do not welcome our robot overlords. Checker Mini. Use level checker mini on it. My Beloved. That's nice, I wasn't even thinking of this. We got all the currents. Reviewing received transmission. Analysis suggests the aggressor is no longer operational. Requesting return a previously provided recording device. Device containing data from your fight against the Omicron aggressor. For some reason, the screen reads level 90 and the speakers are emitting a jaunty tune. Oh, bum, 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 bum. Extraction of combat data complete. Analyzing. Quality of data greatly exceeds expected values in all previous recordings. Configuring emotional state to impressed. The data suggests you engage the aggressor at close quarters and gave it little time to respond. This unit will submit a request to the logistics matrix for the augmentation of emergency escape apparatus. Searching database for situationally appropriate axiom. Only through combat can we improve ourselves. The absence of new challenge results in stagnation. Records indicate this base has not encountered new threats in a considerable amount of time. This unit sees potential value in enduring attacks more frequently, though its Discord prevention module is buzzing in a most irritating fashion. Reconfiguring emotional state to grateful. This unit appreciates your cooperation with the collection of combat data. Analysis suggests it will provide invaluable to the further development of base Omicron. Requesting retrieval of my beloved. Potential for reconstruction and further experimentation remains high. Remains of the Omicron's consort after it self-destructed. Self-destruction confirmed successful. Sadly, experiment confirmed unsuccessful. Analysis of this unit's parameters shows no change in functionality. This unit will consider executing a family simulation after reconsulting enemy faction data, but based on the values of the consort simulation, termination of research may be advisable. Reconfiguring emotional state from disappointed to grateful. This unit thanks you once more for your cooperation. Your proposed methodology may be implemented in future experiments. That club would suggest it's still operational, but how would you interact with it? Greetings, sir. Can you hear me? Say something if you can. Awaken. Activate. Password. Well, I tried. This appears to be the console, but it seems unresponsive. You care to take a look at it? You try touching, smacking, and attuning with the console, but there's no response. No luck, I see. There must be a way to activate it. There must.
Well, I'm out of ideas.
As am I. Operating such consoles is trying enough. But if we can't even activate it?
Perhaps there is a way. First, consider the world that has been recreated here. Its inhabitants were machines who gathered combat data to enhance themselves. And among the many wars they waged, the most notable was that against the dragons. As you've doubtless surmised, I believe this was the homeworld of Omega. Sid built a jamming device to defeat it, a device which generated massive bursts of lightning, its sole weakness.
That's all well and good, but what does that... Wait. You're not thinking to strike the console with lightning, are you?
As a matter of fact, I am. Ask yourselves this. Why would an entity as puissant as Omega not be designed to suppress the effects of lightning?
Because it relies upon it, or something akin to it, as a source of energy.
My thoughts exactly. And there is a good chance the same is true of the Omicrons and their devices. So, shall I cast caution to the wind and try something reckless and dramatic?
Yeah, I've had it. Or I could use my custom-made Omega Jammer. Yeah, I've had it. I trust Graha.
Very well. Here I go.
It worked!
Opening connection to communications module 1. Connection established. Transmission. Strategic matrix signal 1 now online. As a primary strategic matrix, you may address me as Sir. Checking for new communications. None found. All units, please maintain current state. End transmission. Closing connection.
Wait! We have questions for you. Of late, no mission orders have been issued. Why not? Has there been some manner of trouble?
Reply. The Extended Operations Unit is yet to determine guidelines for future assignments. All strategies are calculated, devised, and actioned in accordance with set guidelines. In the interim, all citizens are directed to maintain a state of combat readiness. End reply. Awaiting query.
Can you tell us why the Extended Operations Unit hasn't yet determined the guidelines?
Unable to comply. Information unavailable or access restricted.
In that case, is it possible for us to communicate directly with the unit?
Access denied. Unable to establish connection.
Is there anything you can tell us? Have there been any abnormalities, like a threat to the star or widespread unrest?
Reply. Negative. All citizens continue to operate at maximum efficiency. If your operations are suboptimal, please proceed to a maintenance facility for evaluation. Otherwise, stand by at your designated post. End reply. End transmission. Closing connection.
I could activate it again, but I doubt it would be productive. What do you think?
If all the Omicrons really were running as efficiently as it claimed, then I doubt they were hoping for life here to end. As this Sir told us, there just haven't been any new instructions, and everyone is standing by.
Should be standing by at any rate. If there are those that are neglecting their duties, perhaps we can glean a clue from them. I propose we take another look around, and also try to find the operations unit.
remember when we set Omega loose to deal with Shinryu? An elegant weapon we once thought, and here we are now, visiting a recreation of its homeworld. I can only imagine how else these things will surprise us. Though I never encountered Omega myself, in conceiving the means to send the Crystal Tower to the First, we borrowed much from its mastery of the Rift. Indeed, so many times did I read the report of your battle, I believed I could recite it word for word. Omega's miniature likeness also survived to the future, if a little worse for the wear. I must confess I was delighted to see it again in the present. Let us focus our search on the outpost. Alize and I will try to speak with the Omicrons this time, in the hopes we might learn something new. Meanwhile, perhaps you and Graha could observe them from a distance. These beings are systematic and routine by nature. If there are any that aren't, it shouldn't be too difficult to spot them. If there are no questions, then let us begin at once. If we came this way, I believe I spied a promising vantage point. Follow me. We are. See, the twins are wasting no time with their inquiries. At least Alpha, no, I don't really see Alize. That's fine. Let's begin observing the Omicrons. They're supposed to be standing by, so we should look for any that aren't. Search base Omicron for errant Omicrons. You may move the camera as well as zoom in and out, target an Omicron, and examine it with the... But... that's no Omicron. It's an ambystoma. Especially a lively one at that. Perhaps it snuck aboard the Ragnarok, but however it came to be here, it seems to be completely in its element. Little stinker. Speak enough now, though you can't hear that conversation, all appears otherwise normal. Oh, there's Alize. Omicron wanders around ceaselessly, as if lacking a clear objective. Wandering aimlessly. Where? Ah, I see it. We've left the base. Let's follow it. It's not here, but it definitely came this way. Must have used the portal. Time to go through and see what we find. Fallow portal. Travel through the portal. Oh God. Tree of Life. What is your query? Ah, you found it. What are you doing here? I am looking at the tree. Quite an unusual specimen. What is the device attached to it? The tree is a sample collected from another star, as it cannot survive in our environment. However, it requires life support. That is the function of the device. To go to such lengths to sustain it, is there something special about this tree? Being foreign matter, protocol requires that we study it. As this task has been completed, the specimen may be discarded. However, when I behold the tree, I am made to feel as though there is a problem. In order to become strong, we have continued to enhance ourselves, like we did countless others. We conquered the star once this tree came. It is the last remnant of a dead world. There is nothing towards which it may aspire, yet it grows, extends its branches, sprouts leaves, produces seeds. Why does it seek to continue? Why was it made to behave in such a way, and to what end? I do not understand. I see. Out of curiosity, does this pertain to your duty? No, it does not. My apologies. I shall return to my designated post and assume a state of combat readiness. So is that acting outside of orders? Perhaps it is simply a malfunctioning Omicron. They are by no means uncommon, but it may also be a unit possessed of the ability to make decisions, one not unlike Sir. I believe this bears further investigation. To endeavor to live even if we must depart on forces beyond our control. Tell me, Shant, one day when this adventure becomes a part of your epic, do you think I will be mentioned in it? Of course, why wouldn't you be? You truly think so? That would be I shouldn't say such things until the moment comes to pass. Never mind the embarrassment. Well, we had best get on with our task. Tracking down Sir and understanding the nature of the emotion which bars our way. Hello, world. Grahati is ready to take the next step. We should return to the outpost for now. The others will wish to hear about the errant Omicron. We'll get back, and then I think I'm gonna call it, and we'll pick this back up tomorrow. God. You frickin' drained me taking frickin' not just Thancred last time, but now Urianger, Y'shtola, and Astinian. Though Y'shtola did mention that there is still a way to bring them back. So we'll be fine, hopefully. We'll see. But until next time, I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day, rest of your evening, whichever it may be. I'll see y'all next time. Bye, everybody.